President Trump also supporting supporters gathering in numbers today, pro-Trump rallies to take part in the March for Trump. March 4th, March for Trump, get it? And so let's take a listen.
So I'm proud to be standing here before you today. I am concept of government by the people.
As many as 100 people showing up for the rally in D.C., gathering near the Washington Monument and then marching over to the White House. Large crowds also turning out in New York City and Palm Beach, Florida. Supporters saying they want to show pride in President Trump's presidency. Garrett Tenney joins me now here in the studio. Great to have you here in New York,
Julie,
by the way.
great to be here.
All right, so there were also some anti-Trump protests. I guess you always have to have both sides. So what were they like today?
Well, there was at least a couple dozen of these anti-Trump protests, and really a lot of them said from the get-go their goal was to shut down any support for President Trump. And to do that, you have to look no further than one of the activist groups' names, by any means necessary. That's why things got ugly this afternoon in Berkeley, California, where a few dozen Trump supporters had started to gather for a March for Trump rally, when some of the protesters went up to the group and started arguing, which led to shoving and fist flying. Since then, the protests have continued to grow and the fights have continued to break out as well. Police are on hand and hoping to avoid a repeat of what we saw on Berkeley's campus 1 month ago when riots broke out over conservative Speaker Milo Yiannopoulos. Earlier today in Ohio, anti-Trump protesters at a counter-demonstration carried umbrellas and walked into a pro-Trump rally. You can hear them here cheering on to stomp the American flag. And we should point out that those two clashes stand in stark contrast to the many other pro-Trump rallies that were scheduled across the country today. Julie?
Because for the most part, these, protests have been pretty peaceful. But when you get the two pros and against together, that's when the clashes certainly tend to fire up. What were rallies like other, places in the country?
Well, there was a lot of them, more than 100 in more than 40 states. And this was really a grassroots effort by those who voted for the president and really wanted to show him that they still stand behind him and what he's doing. The rallies and marches, they ranged from a few dozen people to several hundred, like this one in downtown Raleigh, North Carolina. And then this rally in Miami, Florida, where supporters carried signs, including some that said "Immigrants for Trump" and "He is my president." Take a listen to one of those supporters.
The people over here, they're supporting Donald Trump 100% because the people, they want a change, and the change is over here now.
And just north of there in Palm Beach, Florida, crowds lined the streets with signs and banners outside the Southern White House praising and cheering on the president as he returned to his Mar-a-Lago club. And they even got a bit of a surprise when the president stopped his motorcade on his way back and he got out to thank them for their support.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of excitement every time he goes down there, and he's been doing it every weekend. Security also must be quite an adventure for law enforcement down in Florida as well.
You have the Coast Guard there.
This is unlike anything they've ever seen at Mar-a-Lago.
You have the FAA, the airport's right next to there.
Yeah.
So those planes, they can't fly over. The Coast Guard is on ski boats, motorcraft. It's an all-out effort there.
Yeah, no, this used to be just a country club and a place to golf. Now it's like a whole other world.
Yeah.
All right, Garrett Tenney, thank you. Great to see you here.